Welcome back to What's New in the Lou with Alexis Zotos, presented by Caldy's Coffee. This is your can't miss weekly podcast where we're helping you stay in the know about everything going on in St. Louis. Think the can't miss events, of course, the new restaurants that are opening, and most importantly, the people that make our community the best place to live and visit. Stick around for the end of the episode because I share an event calendar so you know exactly what's going on this week and you don't feel like you're missing out when you see it all on social media next week. We're going to kick off 2026 with a brand new episode of one of the most anticipated openings of the new year. I am talking about the Sports Bra. It is opening up in Maplewood, and I am joined here by owner Heather Hill. Thanks so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Do you feel like you're one of the most anticipated openings?
In our house, we definitely do, right? We've been working on this for a while. And then it's kind of funny anytime we go out in after a news article or something, and then we go out in Maplewood, people are like, oh my God, hey.
People are excited.
It's cool. Yeah, it feels really good.
I think one of the biggest things that makes it so exciting is because we don't have anything like it. So talk to us about what is the Sports Bra?
Yeah, so the Sports Bra, it originally started in Portland in April of 22. So the founder and CEO of the franchise, her name is Jenny Nguyen. And she, if people are following the Sports Bra at all, you've probably seen her story. She tells it way better than I do. But she kind of played college ball or pickup ball, and her and a group of friends were sitting around and watching an NCAA tournament. And she said it was one of the best games of her life. It was so exciting. And then they walked out and kind of cheering, and they said, imagine what would have happened if the sound was on.
Right.
So they didn't even realize that they were watching in kind of this secluded corner of a bar, no sound, right? Not an atmosphere building fandom, which is what the Sports Bra eventually has come to do. So she quit her job, took a couple of year hiatus, really honed in, designed the menu, found the space. And she said, if it's going to work anywhere, it's going to be in Portland.
Mm-hmm.
And then just the traction that's got. So in 8 months, they did about 900,000 in a space of 45 seats, lines down the block for months and months and months. Then a few years later, she decided to franchise. And so we're excited to bring it to St. Louis because, like you said, there is nothing in the city that is centered around women's sports, girls and youth, right? We want to see ourselves on the screen, little girls coming in their softball uniforms, soccer uniforms. So that's the goal.
And what's crazy is that we know St. Louis is a sports town. And this is something that's it's a piece that's missing.
Yep.
So how did you get involved? How did you get connected that this was going to be a franchise opportunity? Walk me through that aspect of it all.
So it's kind of a funny story maybe. But April 22, again, like I said, she opened. And then I'd say November of 24.
Mm-hmm.
So she started the franchise opportunity in September 24, put out a call to action online. And then from 22, my algorithm online kind of started changing. Women's sports and, just kind of the market. The 776 Foundation and Alexis Ohanian, who's bought into the Sports Bra, and he's actually the angel investor for the franchise itself. So I was up 2:30 in the morning, maybe a little liquid courage, sitting there scrolling, and I saw it, and I was like, oh my God, St. Louis needs this, and why not me? So filled out the application, sent it over, and a couple weeks later, I got a call and said, hey, you want to do an interview? And I was like, sure. I hadn't run it by my business partner yet. Hadn't run it by my wife yet. I was like, let's just try it. So we did, and that's where we're at. And here we are a year and 2 months later.
And so
finally.
What gave you the courage? Because we just talked about this before the episode. This hospitality isn't your background.
It is not. I've worked in retail for 20 years. The last 10 or so, I've been building teams and managing and leading. So I feel like those skills are really, really transferable.
100%.
And then kind of as I've grown, I was born in 83, so I kind of hit my 40s, and I don't know if it's a midlife crisis, right? But kind of like, what am I doing? And my wife comes from a background of entrepreneurship. Her dad is self-employed, has been her whole life. She grew up, right, like riding a bus to the flower shop and doing it from the age of 3. So she always known that we could do it. And then my business partner, Sarah, she's also an entrepreneur, has started a yard mowing business in Cape Girardeau from the time she was 14, and her husband now runs it. And it's a very, very big deal and supports their family. So that entrepreneurship isn't foreign to us. And I think, again, as I've kind of grown and, what is this for? We don't have children. So like I've been putting so much effort into my life through this retail career. So like, why not branch out and do it for ourselves? And we've been lucky enough that along the way we've been picked and the community supports it. friends and family have supported it. So it's been really cool to see everybody rally around us bringing this forward.
I love it. Okay, so you chose Maplewood. Why Maplewood?
Why not?
I mean, I love Maplewood.
I know,
so
it's
I think
great, right?
I think it's a perfect spot for this.
Absolutely. So,
but I'm curious if like something stood out to you.
So our gut, we live in the city. We love the city. St. Louis through and through. The city kind of scares some people, right? And it can kind of be a little gatekeeping for some of our community or county friends. So we did look at some locations in the city, one of which is now Songbird.
Oh, okay.
So that was the first space we actually went to look at. And I said, this is perfect. And then our broker was like, it's probably going under contract. So we were like, shoot. So let's look elsewhere. But we wanted something walkable. We wanted something on a bus line. We wanted something that was really kind of a business district that had a lot of lunch traffic. Because we know people are going to come for the night games. But like, how do we supplement that lunch crowd? And Maplewood is totally where it's at. And then part of the franchise, we had to partner with a company called Seeker Group.
Okay.
And they are kind of like entry to market experts.
Oh, okay.
So they look at the pulse of St. Louis. They look at the socioeconomics, the demographics, traffic in and out. They look at all the cell phone data, who's shopping, where they're shopping, how many times are they coming in.
Which is
and out.
creepy, but we know that that's like
it's all out there. That metadata is totally out there. So we contracted with them. Best place for market entry of a women's exclusive sports bar, hands down, was Maplewood.
I love that.
Yeah, and then happened to be the old Boogaloo.
Yeah, it's
open.
a great space. Tell me, you guys have the signage up.
We do.
What was it like when that went up? Like, did you just get this like influx of excitement? Like, walk me through what it was like.
It's totally surreal. So up until that point, I think it was still just kind of an idea. And, our household and business partner and our friends and family just kept like, oh, tomorrow's the day or this or that, right? Next week we'll do this, or I have another interview here, right? It's always just kind of been, nothing's really been tangible. And so when we picked up those window clings, like we took them home and unrolled them and put them out and made sure that they were good. And then we had to decide, like, how do we do this? And like even the planning of that morning. But it was so cool as we were out there and people started to see kind of what we were doing, because we were out there at 6 o'clock in the morning. And so the big reveal was like sun up and had it on camera. But as people were walking by, they were like, what is this? And every single person that came by and saw the sports bra, like, walk me through what that is. And then it's so exciting. So having that tangible moment was just like beyond. And I think, we were on a high for days after that. And I work kind of out of Brentwood sometimes, and I would drive by Maplewood, just casually look at it down Manchester, totally out of my way on the way to work.
Just to see it.
It's just fun.
Well, it looks great. The green, it just like really pops there. I love it. And I think you're right in terms of Maplewood is such a great district for business, for eating. It's just one of those really great walkable communities. And something like this, I think, can only do well there.
That's the plan, hopefully.
So, okay. Yeah, you mentioned it's the old Boogaloo space. So in case people haven't been, I'm guessing you're taking down the swings. That used to
I know. And I will say that is probably the number one question that we get is, are the swings? And I'm like, they have to go, right? You don't want to sit and watch a screen.
It's a little bit of a different vibe.
Right? I do have people that want to buy them, people that want to put them in their backyard.
So they were still in there.
Oh, they're in there now, yeah. I actually have a screwdriver and some stuff to take them down, hopefully this afternoon. But kind of a bittersweet moment.
Yeah,
so.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the vision that it'll be inside? When people walk into that space, we're still staying early 2026.
Yep.
What's going to be the vibe?
Hopefully it'll feel like home a little bit, right? It's not your average typical sports bar with just like grid walls of TVs. It's going to be warm, inviting, natural woods. We actually got some of the reclaimed floors from WashU's flooded gym floors. Those are going to be the bar top.
Love.
So it's going to have like that little homage to WashU, right? Lots of live plants in there. And then all of the like kind of trophies and memorabilia on the wall. We're going to try to do as much local and homegrown as we can. We're actually going to put a call to action out soon for people to drop off their pictures, their trophies. And so like, Aunt Susie, who played on the flag football team in 1972, and actually like point herself out on the wall for her kids. And I think it's going to be really cool.
I love that. What will it look like what'll be on those screens? Like, walk me through how you guys decide what gets put on, what games we're watching, how that impacts the hours and things like that.
Yeah. So Over the last few years, women's sports broadcasting has grown. So 100% of women's sports are played, right? 5 years ago, only 5% of that 100 was actually broadcast on the screen.
Which is wild.
So ESPN, ESPN Plus, W, any of the above, 5%. It's now grown to about 15 to 20%.
Okay.
So there's a lot more content out there. So we'll do a scrub of all the apps, of all the channels, figure out what's going on, and then we really match what the community wants. So rugby's huge here, right? Hockey is huge. Of course, basketball, the NWSL, or excuse me, soccer, the W will play. So whatever the community wants. We have roller derby here, and they broadcast on YouTube.
Oh,
so
cool.
doing roller derby nights will be something that we really kind of push for. But the Slam, right? The St. Louis Slam, they play out of here, and some of their stuff is broadcast on YouTube. So we'll do those kind of watch parties. Anything that we have access to that we can legally broadcast to groups is what we'll do.
Caldy's Coffee has been proudly roasting in St. Louis since 1994. Guided by a commitment to quality, service, and community, Caldy's strives to make every cup a moment of discovery. And get this, thanks to the support of their St. Louis community and fans across the country, they were named USA Today's #1 coffee chain in 2024. Visit caldyscoffee.com to find your nearest cafe, shop coffee for home, or even book a free tour and cupping at their roastery. Follow the goat to your next great coffee experience. Enjoy the rest of the episode. Yeah, because that's a big thing. Like, people never think about that from like a bar perspective. Like, there's sometimes you cannot show things.
Yep. And even as simple as the music, right? You have to buy into music rights to even play music. Otherwise, you can get fined, and those fines are hefty.
Yeah. Yep. How much of this is going to be an education aspect? Like, there are people that, they probably watch those games all the time. And then you've got people that are probably listening right now. They're like, wait, I'd love to watch that. Had no idea how or where or when. How much of this is an educational app?
Yeah, I think there's a huge opportunity for it. And like I said, we'll meet the community where they're at. So we've done a couple of watch parties around town. And one of the most recent, I don't know if it was a Bluewood or Second Shift, but some roller derby folks came in. And one of the partners of one of the women who joust, or I don't know what you call a roller derby, but the women that play, he was like, I'll come into the bar and do like a Derby 101 like lesson. So
cool.
As it's being shown, he's can then like kind of commentate it for the bar. I know our partners in Boston, so Boston's opening a sports bar, and they currently have like an LLC called Watch With Us Boston. Okay. And they had the rugby team come in and kind of do the same thing. It's just like a 101 rugby, did a little quick one-pager.
I could use that. I don't really understand rugby.
I don't know a lot of it. I don't even know hockey.
Okay. Well, you gotta learn that.
I know. I know. Hopefully we get a women's expansion team here in a few years. Yeah.
That would be awesome. Yep. So there is a almost an educational aspect.
For sure.
And I do think, you've got people who, as we see, if there's only 5% of games that were even being shown, now it's increased. There's still like an educational aspect on like why it's so vital to show women's sports.
Yep. I think that there's still the stigma of people don't watch women's sports, right? And I do believe that we are being educated that not only is it fun and entertaining, but like people are seeing it as a business now at this point. And these women's bars that are like, I say women's bars, that exclusively show women's sports or mainly women's sports, they are like booming. There are lines out the door. There's probably 20, 25 of them across the country today, and most of them are standing room 5-6 nights a week.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Because right now you said there are other cities that are expanding along with St. Louis, Boston, St. Louis,
Indianapolis, and Vegas.
Those are huge sports towns.
Yeah.
How cool is it to be a part of this core group of expanding?
It is like wild, right? So it is a new franchise. So it's been fun, a lot of learning along the way. We are the farthest along in the process as well.
Okay. So you guys will probably be the first to open, maybe? Fingers crossed.
We are hoping for it. Kind of depends what spaces people rent, lease, build, buy, that kind of stuff. And then permitting in every city is going to be a little bit different.
Always,
we are the farthest along, so we are still hoping to be the second location to open. But it's super exciting and super cool. And again, to bring that to St. Louis, which is such a sports city. We're just missing that female dynamic. I think it's going to be really cool.
Okay, so you say exclusively show women. So it'll only be women's sports? Yes?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. No Cardinals,
No Cardinals, no Blues.
no Super Bowl.
Okay.
Like it is in the agreement that, we're watching like Olympics,
Sure.
some mixed sports, something like that, then, we'll still try to change the channel.
Yeah.
'Cause that's kind of the shtick with the sports bar, bra. We just changed one letter. We're changing the channel on a typical sports bar.
I think that there's 100 places that
Yep.
you could watch those games.
Yep.
And this is a space that's being dedicated
Yep.
to showing women's sports.
Yep, absolutely. And I think really cool in Maplewood, for those that are familiar, 4 doors down, 5 doors down is the Post.
Yeah.
Which is like a sports bar, right?
Yes,
like it is a sports bar.
Has there been like a cool camaraderie there? What's been the, is
You
there
know,
been any
I haven't done much, right? But we are thinking like a bros and bra night, right? Like something play on it. If there's a Cardinals game and a W, I don't know what seasons overlap.
Sure.
But if there are 2 games, right? Like a group of people can go there and a group of people can come here. So absolutely.
Food, what's going to be what's the rest of the atmosphere look like?
Yeah,
we've got the games, but what's the rest of the vibe?
The game's going to bring people in, the food and the hospitality, right? Bar service, that's going to keep people coming back.
Yeah.
So we were up in Portland last week,
a
couple weeks ago for what they call home court training. And so we got to learn all the cocktails, got to learn all the recipes. Everything's made from scratch. So it's very heavy, fresh ingredient, lots of prep in the kitchen. Lots of vegan, vegetarian options, gluten-free. So we will try to accommodate everybody's kind of dietary needs and wants, but also standard pub fare, if you will. So a couple of burgers, tuna melt, Philly cheesesteak, wings, cauliflower wings, if you choose, ribs. So again, the owner, franchise CEO, Jenny, is Vietnamese. So her background was in Vietnamese cooking. And so we have a couple of dishes that are like her family's recipes with some ribs and the chicken wings. So pretty cool. Yeah.
What are you most excited about?
Oh boy. I think, and this is a really big kind of answer, but I think building community, right? As an LGBT member, I think we've lost our spaces in the city. And a lot of that has come from just like the normalcy, right? The Equality of Marriage Act that came through, right? We've lost our last lesbian bar like 10 years ago. Not that the bra is going to be a lesbian bar, but it is an inclusive place where everybody can just come and feel welcomed. So I think that part is probably like the most exciting. Yeah. And then on kind of a selfish level, like building something for myself and my family, I think is super intriguing.
Yeah. What are you doing to sort of lead into that opening? Obviously, you've got the logistics of the construction. You got to take down the swings, the permitting, which we all know is the really exciting part of business opening. What are you doing to sort of bring in that community, keep that community in the know of, hey, this is happening?
Yeah. So, I mean, so many people in the community have reached out already and said, hey, we want to partner. We want to do this. We want. And so for me at this juncture, it is really just not leaving anybody on red and just always like engaging and like, hey, we're not quite there yet, but give me 6 weeks, right? Give us 4 weeks. The Slam have been really vocal from the start about wanting to kind of like be a part of it. And we met one of the women that play, and then her husband own a bar down in Soulard. So we did a couple of watch parties there just to kind of bridge that. But I think just keeping everybody that wants to do something and collaborate along the way. And then as I'm having those conversations, really making sure that people understand the mission and what we're doing and why we're doing it. And that's to empower women, girls, and youth in sport. So
when you think about that opening day or that first like big game, what do you imagine looking out? What's that picture in your brain?
You try not to like have expectations.
Yeah.
But I think the street is going to be wild. I think we're going to have a line down the block. We've had a band reach out and say, hey, we want to put up a tent and make like this whole like daytime event kind of thing. Part of the opening day, instead of cutting a ribbon for the sports bra, we actually cut down a basketball net. So I'm just waiting to like be up on that ladder and like cutting down the net. So I try not to have expectations. We think that there will be lines down the block that day and for a few months at least, just from what we're feeling online. And as like I said earlier, every time we post an article
Mhm.
or have a podcast like this, right, when this airs,
Mhm.
I mean, I'll probably have 200-300 emails the next week, just like, "Hey, when? How? Can I work there? Can I wash your dishes?" Like, whatever it is,
See,
people are so
I
into it.
I just I love that because I do think there is this stigma. There is this like, ugh, nobody wants to watch women's sports.
Yep,
That's just frankly not
it's
true.
not true, and like I said, every other women's sports bar across the country is proving. So,
Yeah.
and
And it's just and I do think there's this exciting aspect to bridging that
mhm,
like gap of understanding and making people realize that hey, this is something that everyone can be welcome to. You don't have to play women's sports.
right,
You don't have to be,
yep,
I'm not an athlete by any means, but we can all enjoy
yep.
watching it. And there's enough sports fans in this city.
Yep. Yeah. And there's something so cool about, like, you can go to a Cardinals game, right? And being in that
Yeah.
environment is half the fun, right?
Hmm.
And you go to a
Well,
good
sure, especially when the team isn't
right?
presenting.
Yeah. You go to a good
Sorry,
sports
cards.
bar, and half the fun is leaning over to the table and, like, high-fiving a
Hmm.
stranger, right, because
Hmm.
of a good play. And just we don't have that with women's sports, and I mean, we've proved it through the watch parties here. A couple of days' notice, and our watch parties have, like, filled capacity for the bars that we've done it in. So it's like people are here. If you build it, they will come, right? Like, and I do believe that people will fill the seats.
All right, let's dive into what's happening this week in the Lou so you can stay in the know. First off, The Outsiders is at the Fox this week through the 18th. Third Friday at the Del Mar Makers District is Friday, January 16th. The MLK Community Celebration at the Missouri History Museum is January 16th and 17th. On Saturday, January 17th, you can check out the Tower Grove Farmers Market Winter Edition. Saturday, January 17th is Rascal Flats at Enterprise Center, and Monster Jam takes over the Dome at America Center on January 17th and 18th. As always, don't forget to hit subscribe so you know exactly when the latest episodes of What's New in the Lou drop, and follow us on social media. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at What's New in the Lou podcast. Thanks for listening.